On the eve of the World War, the Ottoman army was not well prepared for a large-scale war effort.
It had only an insignificant munitions industry of its own and relied
on imports and grants from its allies for its needs of weapons and equipment.
This dependence on Germany and Austria-Hungary continued during the course of the war.
It was Sultan Abdulhamid II who first became aware of the need to renew the weapons of the army in late 19th century. At that time, when European arms industries were in rapid progress, the Ottoman army had only obsolete weapons with low efficiency.
A delegation led by one of the brightest Turkish mathematicians at the time,
General Vidinli Tevfik Pasha, was sent to Germany to purchase Mauser rifles.
According to the agreement made with Germany, Turkey was supposed to buy Model 1877 rifles in 9.5mm caliber.
After 84,732 pieces of M1877 was manufactured, the Turkish government changed the order to the M1893 model in 7.65mm caliber. Rifles of this model were 120 to 0.5 centimeters long, and they had a short staggered column box magazine, holding 5 7x 57mm rounds flush with the bottom of the rifle, which could be quickly reloaded by pushing a strip of rounds down from the top of the open bolt. A further 643,672 pieces of this model was manufactured.
In 1908, when constitutional rule was restored, the Ottoman army had mostly basic rifles and only a few number of rapid 549.
During the first decade of the century, the Ottoman army had no machine gun units.
These kinds of guns were only used in warships and for coastal defense.
There was only a few number of machine guns, and they were all Maxim Nordenfeld. Heavy weapons included light artillery and howitzers. Local production was far from being sufficient to meet the needs for ammunition, and therefore new orders were placed at German plants.
250 million pieces of battle cartridges and 10 million pieces of training cartridges were ordered
at the Deutschwaffen UND Munitionsfabrik in Karlsruhe, and
a further 50 million pieces of battle cartridges were ordered at the plants of Erhard and Polen.
The total cost of newly purchased ammunition was 1.7 million golden liras,
of which 15% was paid in advance and the rest in installments at an annual interest of 6%.
In 1912, the total number of cartridges available increased
to 886 million pieces, including those imported from Germany and manufactured locally.
Although the stock of the rifle ammunition was at acceptable levels, there was a serious problem about the artillery ammunition.
Especially the 7.5 centimeters rapid-firing field guns and mountain guns were suffering from a lack of cartridges. In 1908, 167,000 pieces of shrapnel was ordered at the Erhard in Germany.
Local production was far from being sufficient to meet the needs for ammunition, and therefore new orders were placed at German plants.
250 million pieces of battle cartridges and 10 million pieces of training cartridges were ordered
at the Deutschwaffen UND Munitionsfabrik in Karlsruhe, and
a further 50 million pieces of battle cartridges were ordered at the plants of Erhard and Polen. In 1912, the total number of cartridges available increased
to 886 million pieces, including those imported from Germany and manufactured locally.
Although the stock of the rifle ammunition was at acceptable levels, there was a serious problem about the artillery ammunition. Especially the 7.5 centimeters rapid-firing field guns and mountain guns were suffering from a lack of cartridges.
In 1908, 167,000 pieces of shrapnel was ordered at the Erhard in Germany. The situation improved in the following years, and a decree issued on July 3, 1910, improved the budget for purchases of arms and ammunition.
The army, which was equipped relatively compared to a few years ago, entered 2 arms in 1911 to 1912.
The Turco-Italian War in Libya did not cause a radical consumption of stocks,
because the Turkish navy was not in a position to transport the supplies to this overseas province.
When the war began, there were only 12 pieces of 7.5 centimeters field guns in Libya with 300 cartridges for each.
Later, a further 24 pieces of 8.7 centimeters guns were brought in from Salonika.
The material cost of the Balkan War was much higher.
Several guns were left behind in cities lost to the Balkan armies, such as Ioani, Salonika, Skoda, and Eden. These guns included 44 pieces of 7.5 cm Krupp rapid-firing field guns, 18 pieces of 15 cm Krupp howitzers, and 18 pieces of 10.5 cm Krupp field guns.
The loss in infantry rifles was much more dramatic.
Support from the Allies and new purchases continued after the Balkan War and throughout the course of the World War.
In total, Germany provided 559 pieces of artillery, 557,000 rifles, 100,000 carbines,
1,570 light machine guns, 30 heavy machine guns, 930 million rifle cartridges, 500,000 artillery cartridges, 200,000 shrapnels,
300 aircrafts, 16,000 gas masks, and 30 flamethrowers for the Ottoman Army until the end of the war.
Turkish infantry used two different kinds of grenades.
The most commonly used offensive grenade was the German stick grenade style hand grenade.
It weighed 0.5